You normally would think so, but you never know.
Check, check, check. I'll try to let podium taps. Check, check. Yep.
Not that you feel like you said. I didn't say it. Sorry. Oh yeah, I think about that. I remember being on the sideline and being like, that's what I was saying. Oh, I get where that. I know, right? But that's what I was thinking. I know. Like, can I tell you about? It's been a while. Like, I don't even know if you remember who I was, but it is. Nothing was more surreal than Edward Ashcroft. Like after we had the candy jar. Were you there? Were you with the? That was like so surreal. He had just been in like the month, like that's November. Oh, I guess it would be like Halloween weekend. It was just in the throes of really good. He was one of the nicest people, like from the national side that I've been around. I miss it. No, like I just quit out baseball. He was baseball. Okay, yeah, because he was like, that was the weird thing. I feel like there's a couple like, oh, I'm kind of sick right now. You know, like, and like, I've got to get back. I like he was. No, I would pick that one. It would not be. Never have friends. It would not be. I know, but like, it'd be like being nice to like the people. You know, and yeah, and so he wasn't one of the like when. Yeah, and so like when I was in college, like when I was in Hawaii, like he would actually probably, and I think he'd like remember your name and be like, "What's crap?"
I was one year. Like, I lived with one of our roommates for 2 years, and then senior year, I went to somewhere else. Charlie was like 50.
I saw you post his 5-3 Hubbard.
You never gave me natural presents like that.
Well, these email.
I'm like trying to remember names, but
They'll be friendly. Maybe at the deep. Tall one.
you know what it is? I think I have it. Yeah. I saw one.
It's like the
Oh, okay. Freshman. just on the ESPN site. I'll be down that side.
He's like, I mean, I know that he was bad. I mean, like, I think he's good. I don't know, like, how to judge that level of play. But, yeah, he did well in his little, I don't know, I feel like he can play somewhere.
And the best part is he went back, so the after the further correction, I appreciate that. They can use my club. It should be your cloud chaser.
I was just gonna say, if I were to ever use your name, how many ways?
Oh, no, don't worry, people try. I've been called a meal before. Yeah, that was the day that I had to go interview. Yeah, it is in South Florida. Whole weekend. Nobody showed up except me. And I asked her how she comes back. I wish that I had that. That would be great.
Emily, when I was first getting out of college, I covered this volleyball team that had, like, I think it was 4, it might have been 5, I think it was 4 different Emily's, they all spelled their name differently.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. We are joined by Coach Ryan Grubb. If you have a question for Coach, just raise your hand. We'll get a microphone over to you. We're ready for questions at this time. We'll start here with Nick Kelly on the front right.
Hey, Ryan, to get the offense back to where it was when it kind of was at its peak this season, what do you think needs to happen?
Well, obviously, we got to get a rhythm early in the football game. Weren't capable of that in the SEC championship. Besides taking a knee at the end of the half, I think we ran 19 plays in the first half of that game. 9 of them were runs. We just weren't effective at all. So it starts with just, moving the chains on third down. I think simply put, those are the things that we did really well early in the season and at the midpoint when we were on that 4-game run against some tough opponents. And the consistency in that is we're more than capable. We got great kids that play hard, smart, and they're more than capable of getting that done. So excited about the challenge.
Jumping over to the front left, Colin.
Hey, Ryan, what have you seen, I guess, from Jam over the past 2 weeks? Is he, with him being fully healthy, or have you seen more of a fire under him as he, in practice? Or
Yeah, Jam's always got a fire. But yeah, he looks great. He's out there running around today. Did an awesome job. Feel like he'll be full go, ready to contribute and help us get rolling again.
Going back to the front right, let's go to Tony next.
With the struggles in the running game, how important is it to take deep shots early in the game, maybe to open up the defense a little bit, just to kind of maybe announce your presence there? Is that a strategy you kind of use?
I've used them all. I've used throw the deep ball early and run later, run early, throw the deep ball after. So I think some of it obviously comes down to whatever schematic advantage you think you have against a particular defense and what they give you early in the game or don't give you. And I think sometimes there's a feel-out process during the game, and you can see what you think you have success with. But, for us, whether the ball's going down the field or running the football, we got to be more consistent with the ball moving forward, period. Whether it's an explosive play, 5-yard run, we got to get first downs and be consistent on early downs.
Question from Joe back in the middle right there.
Coach, what does Oklahoma's defense do so well that creates their havoc plays, turnover, sacks, and what is the key to avoiding that?
Good question. They do a great job of creating confusion. That's what they're good at. Their guys are, well executed. You can see that they've been in the system a couple years now, have kind of moved forward a little bit compared to even last year. So I think it's just really trying to get your eyes in the wrong spots. Their guys play physical and fast, so they're confident in the scheme that they run, which I think is really, really important in any scheme. And they certainly do that. So they play with an edge that, you got to make sure that you're matching their intensity and go above it.
Question from Katie, right in front there.
Before the SEC championship, talking to Kalen about a rematch. It had been a while since y'all had played Georgia, so he talked about it being different teams. It's only been a month since that Oklahoma game.
Yeah.
Is there kind of a benefit to that y'all moved the ball pretty well against a really good defense and things y'all can draw back on from that previous matchup?
Yeah, I think I heard Coach Venables say it before. I think we have tendencies, they have tendencies. We have things that we do well, they have things that they do well, and we just got to pit those things as we see fit. And I think as far as timing, the closer proximity to the last game, I don't know if that really gives you an advantage or not. I certainly think it probably makes the picture potentially a little clearer than maybe earlier in the season. And then certainly personnel-wise, I think you know probably what's going on at this point.
Going to the far right side to Charlie.
Yeah, Coach, just what have you seen from Josh Cuevas in practice in terms of what he's been able to do, and how big would it be to get him back for your offense?
Yeah, Josh has been a huge part of the offense all year. So, for us, just, in the run game, pass game, everything he can do is critical. We've missed him, his leadership, and his presence on the field for sure. And just playmaking ability, catching the ball, breaking tackles after he gets the football, which he certainly did, last time against Oklahoma. So he's been looking great, and we're excited to have him back out there.
Got a question in the back row on the far left there.
Hey, Coach, last time against Oklahoma, you said you were going to change up the offensive signs and signals. Did you ever feel like Venables kind of knew what was coming or picked up on any of the signs that were new in the first meeting?
I think that those guys that are, working signals eventually get them during the course of a football game. So you have to have measures, throughout the game to try to combat that. And I thought, there was times where you certainly thought there were some of those things that they had gotten. I didn't feel like it affected anything or got us to the point where, we weren't making a play because of that. And we huddled quite a bit as well. So some of that's, kind of irrelevant.
Let's go to Will on the left side.
Coach, what do you want to see from the offensive line in this matchup against Oklahoma? Gave up 4 sacks last time, whether that be personnel-wise or just in general, whether it's run game, pass game, and all that.
Elite communication. The best communication they've had all year. That's what it's going to come down to. Because in the first game, they did a good job of that. We had 2 negative yardage runs, which were actually gains of 0. We talked about that before. The sacks came on lack of communication. And, one of them really was probably Ty could have got out of his hand. But, ultimately for us, it's just going to come down to those guys communicating and everybody being on the same call. If half the line's on one call, the other half's not, that's where your problems happen. That's where sacks and problems in the A and B gap happen. So just elite communication.
Got a question from Emily Grace, second row.
Hey, Coach, we've heard about how this added rest and time to reset, get everyone's bodies right, has paid off from Ty. What are you seeing that's indicating that the team is heading in the right direction as they go into OU this weekend?
I think anytime you're in a game prep and you feel like the attention to detail, the execution in practice is continuing to climb, you're feeling pretty confident the guys are getting in the right spot to play. And certainly this week, I've seen that every single day, including today at practice, where the level of detail and, just how hard they're working out there, honestly, like the actual output, you can tell they're ready to get back on the field for Friday.
Got a follow-up from Nick on the front right.
Yeah, you found ways to get Ryan Williams involved with some short stuff and use his athleticism. In lieu of giving us the game plan, how can you build on what he did in the SEC championship game?
I mean, I think all the guys that are, touch players that you can get the ball in space. Certainly Ryan is that kind of guy. Now you got to have all the compliments to go with it. He certainly is a guy that can hurt you down the field as well. And those are the things you got to try to, paint the picture for the defense of what you want to do and where you're going to get the football. But Ryan can get it now at the line of scrimmage, in the backfield. He can get it down the field on a post route. So those are the things that, the intermediary routes and things like that, I feel like, Ryan, when he's playing his best, is in all those positions.
Another follow-up from Colin.
With kind of a couple of days off here,
Yep.
have you been able to assess what you've seen from Wilkin at right guard, and what have you seen? I guess, how can he improve? Do you like that spot for him? What have you seen?
Yeah, I met with the O-line earlier this week and just talked about that a little bit because, for Wilkin, I think it's important. I made sure the room knows it too. Michael didn't move to tackle because Wilkin wasn't playing good at tackle. It was an overall move to help the right side, and it felt like Wilkin was playing great at tackle, I thought. And, so the move inside was more about Wilkin helping the interior of the offensive line. I think he's done a great job of that. He's a good communicator when you have a freshman next to you. Michael needs that communication and has done a good job listening to the older guys. So I really feel like he's done a great job, especially for a guy that hasn't played a ton of guard. And there's times where he's playing at a really, really high level.
Go back left.
Coach, something that Ryan Williams mentioned to us a couple of days ago is how a way they can help Tyus get lined up faster. Is that something that's been an issue in your eyes?
Say it again. What was the last part?
Ryan Williams said that
Just getting lined up quicker.
Yeah, getting lined up quicker. Has that been kind of a concern or an issue in your eyes?
It's always a concern. If I'm being honest, it wouldn't matter if they went Mach 4 to the line of scrimmage. It wouldn't be fast enough. I think if you're early to the test, you're helping yourself. Get up there, paint the picture for the center and the quarterback, have the threat of snapping the football at any second when we get up there. And that's really what it should look like on every play. And so we certainly have not been perfect at that. Today, I thought the guys did a better job of that, but there always has to be the threat of the offense snapping the football. And those were some of the big plays that we had against Oklahoma last time was, snapping the football early, waiting to snap the ball, and going back and forth. So our guys being able to execute that and put some pressure on the defense is a big part of what we do. So, yeah, I think, that just shows the ownership that Ryan, has in the offense and that he wants it to be great.
All right, let's finish up with Joe right here in the back row.
Yep.
Coach, staying with the offensive line questions, how important is it to get Cam Dewberry back into the lineup? And what have you seen from Parker Brailsford with this time off as far as his health and effectiveness?
Yeah, Parker looks a lot better. He was total warrior, man. I mean, the last couple weeks he was. I can't believe he was out there, to be honest with you. I mean, he's a tough dude. So he looks way better. This time off has really, really helped him. He's been in that training room, relentless, just with his pursuit of getting better. And then as far as having Cam back, I think Cam has the potential to be a big-time spark. I thought he was playing his best football right up to when he got injured, and really had built into a better part of the season for him. And so it was kind of tough seeing him go backwards there. But, everybody has injuries. That's, part of the game. And this point of the season, this late in the year, everybody's dealing with stuff.
All right, thank you, Coach.
You bet.
All right. It was really been a great couple weeks from our guys. I think the players have a really good demeanor right now. It's been awesome to get some players healthy. We've really been in a good position, probably healthier than we've been in the last 4 or 5 weeks, which is very encouraging. Guys got to finish up some classes. We had 21 new graduates, 36 guys overall going into the playoffs with their degree. Pretty special, pretty awesome. Tremendous job by just our staff and academic staff, and now it gives our guys a chance to kind of just focus in on playing football, the game they love, and an opportunity in the playoffs. So I think we're going into our 10th SEC opponent now, which in 13 weeks. So another great opponent that we've already faced. I think Oklahoma's got a great rhythm. They have an understanding of who they are and what they want to be and how they want to operate, and they're executing that plan at an efficient level, playing their best football here at the end of the season, which is what any good coaching staff can ask for. And I think we're doing some really good things in a number of areas, and we've also got to improve in a number of areas. And so our guys seem to have a great sense of urgency to get certain things fixed, and also are keeping the main thing the main thing. I think they're playing fast and playing physical in practice, and those things got to show up in Norman, Oklahoma on Friday.
All right, thank you, Coach. Let's start with Chase right in the front.
You mentioned it's good to get some guys back healthy. Kalen DeBoer the other day said that LT Overton's going to be doubtful. So in terms of replacing what he brings as a pass rusher, can you just kind of paint the picture of what that looks like in practice?
Yeah, I think, we've done a lot of different packaging, putting different personnel groups on the field. You've seen some of that already. I think I counted up the other day. I think we've had 16 different personnel groupings that we've carried in games, which is more than what I've done in the past, but I think it's how we utilize our roster better, and we'll continue to do those things and moving guys around so that we can generate pass rush, get the right people on the field at the right time. But certainly Jordan Renaud, you've seen Keon Keeley. We've even moved, in certain packages. You've seen James Smith play the bandit field position in short yardage, goal line, tight red zones, certain things like that. And then from a pass rush standpoint, which you ask about, I don't know if you've noticed. I mean, we've been doing this for 6-7 weeks now, but putting Jan Pierre over there a little bit, and then putting one of those other wolves in there from a pass rush standpoint. So we'll continue to find different personnel groupings. I think that's my job. We're not reinventing the wheel in terms of what we're doing defensively, but who goes in what places and how we move those guys around. I mean, to me, that's a big piece of what I do here on the back end of the season to maximize our personnel.
Go to Katie in the middle.
I think winning the turnover battle is one of y'all's keys to victory every week, but both games this season you haven't forced a turnover. Alabama's lost. So just kind of how big is that, you think, heading into the playoff in this rematch with Oklahoma?
Yeah, takeaways, Katie. We call them takeaways. Turnover implies they gave us the ball. Takeaway implies we took that thing from them. So, no, we do. We want to create takeaways. If you look at the game against Oklahoma the first time, really at every marker, we tried to say, hey, look, we got to go outplay their defense, and they do a tremendous job. And really, at pretty much every marker, we were able to do that, with the exception of taking the ball off of them. And they took it off of us 3 times, and we didn't take the ball away, and that really was the difference in the game. So those are the things that we're trying to push and press. Sometimes they come in bunches. I think our players are doing as good of a job as they ever have of trying to create takeaways, trying to punch at the ball. We talk about shots on goal, right? Shots on ball. That's ultimately the what's going to create takeaways is effort and physicality and a sense of, it's different when you approach a ball carrier thinking, okay, let me just get this guy on the ground versus I'm trying to take the ball off of him. And I think we've got a number of guys that are doing that, but it's got to show up on game day. We cannot walk out of that game -3 in the turnover margin again.
Let's go to Nick, all right.
Yeah, Oklahoma's defense obviously has been talked a good bit about, and for good reason, because it's a good defense. But
Yeah.
do you sense your guys wanting to maybe prove something to show how good of a defense that you have?
Well, I think anytime you're going up against, not only a good offense, but you know what is happening on the other side of the ball. You recognize what they're doing defensively, and I think rightfully so they have gotten a lot of praise on defense, and I think that was a challenge for us in the first game. Let's make sure we are the most dominant defense on the field, and like I said, in the first game, you can point to just about every marker where we were, with the exception of taking the ball away, and that to me is what, ultimately, scoring defense and takeaways. If there are 2 markers that we should be judged on as a defense, it's how many points are we giving up and are we taking the ball off of people? And it doesn't matter how they got the ball or where they get the ball or what the situation is. Can we find ways to stop people, and are we giving our offense more opportunities to score? And we didn't do a good enough job of that in the first game, and that, ultimately that was a deciding factor.
Go to Colin here on the front left.
Obviously, the college football playoff is kind of an expectation at Alabama, but this is kind of the first iteration of, with Kalen and this staff, the experience. Like, how are you encouraging your players, I guess, in this win or go home kind of mentality? What's the feeling? Because it's kind of brand new for this staff in the first.
I think you're right. Certainly in the college football playoff format, but let's not get it twisted. We've been playing win or go home since Florida State. So, I mean, this is just another game for us that means everything, and I think that's the way our players have carried themselves. I think that's the way the coaches carry themselves. You're coaching for your life every single day. You're playing for your life and a chance to go play another one. Now, ultimately, this is win or go home, but let's not get it twisted. It's been like that all season long.
Yeah, this was a game last month that Red Morgan made his first career start, performed pretty well against the Sooners. Just what do you see him in this matchup, and how has he kind of progressed over this last month?
Well, like when you look at Oklahoma and how they want to attack you, perimeter throws, space throws, and Red is one of our best space tacklers. He's one of the best strikers we have on the team, if not our best striker. And what I mean by that is there's just a natural feeling of a guy that can get his feet in the ground at the right time and get the right placement to be able to step with your right foot and right shoulder and maximize power to get to get somebody on the ground. To do that out in space, right, is a compounding challenge, and so he does a great job of leveraging the blocks in the perimeter, but then he can get off those blocks and make plays in space. And so certainly his production showed up. He's continued to elevate his game and play better and better out there. But when you are playing a team that is going to stretch you laterally, your field nickel, right, has to kind of set a wall out there, and essentially, right, put on film that, hey, look, if you want to throw the ball out here, right, you're going to have a hard day. And Red's doing that as good as we've seen for a while.
Jump over to the left side, Will.
Coach, that loss last year, obviously you took a big hit in the personnel group with Deontay getting hurt. What have you seen from him as he's really just stormed back from that injury and been a leadership presence and an on-field presence for this team as you go back into familiar confines this Friday?
Yeah, I think Deontay has – he's playing as good a football as he has played. He's got great confidence. He's taking care of his body at an elite level. He operates as a professional, and he's getting rewarded for it at the back end of the season. I told the guys in fall camp, and I remind them all season long, this is a war of attrition. So who can stay healthy? Your best ability is your availability. And guys like him that take care of their bodies throughout the grind of a season in the SEC, are ultimately going to put us in position in the playoffs to go compete. And we, in this league, have it harder than anybody else in the country when it comes to getting yourself ready to go compete in the playoffs, just because of the grind that you face physically week in and week out. And I think it's if I'm looking at, Deontay Lawson in terms of the NFL and his availability and the way he's pushed himself, what a guy that is going to show up every week, and he's only going to get better and better. And so he's great for his teammates. He's great in our building. He's a leader. He holds people accountable. He plays with tremendous effort and practice every day. And his best ability is his availability. Just keeps showing up. It's awesome.
We do have a question from the Zoom. Eli Letterman from ESPN. Go ahead, Eli, with your question.
All right. Zoom
hey,
question.
Kane. You were coming up as a defensive coordinator yourself while Brent Venables was at Clemson. I'm curious what you remember from afar of watching him, and then when you look at him now and as a play caller yourself, what jumps out to you about the way he operates?
Yeah, I've gotten to know Brent a little bit over the years, and he's obviously an extremely proven play caller. He's found ways in different places, different defensive personnel to have a highly efficient defense. And I think one of the things that stands out is not only are they an efficient defense, but they're a productive defense. And, when you look at it, look at their markers, scoring defense and takeaways. Those are the two things that I think, matter most for a defense. And I think they're operating at an extremely high level in that regard. And so, we we exchanged text a few weeks ago, and just talked to him about how impressive they are to watch, and you get a little bit of crossover work and seeing some of the games that they faced and opponents and common opponents, and sometimes there's an exchange of information there as well. But certainly, anybody that's doing something well in the league, I think it's our job, as defensive coaches and as good coordinators in our profession to just take notice of what those teams are doing and see if you can incorporate maybe something fundamentally, something schematically, maybe something from a personnel grouping standpoint that fits, your team and how we can operate better. And so Brent's doing it at a really high level right now, and his players are buying into that.
Any other questions? Let's finish up with Joe right here in the middle. We got a microphone.
Coach, how would you assess your unit's ability to play offense on the perimeter, screen passes, swing passes, sweeps, and how that marries to an offense's really want to get into the quarterback 1+ run situation?
Yeah, I think we make it really hard for people on the perimeter. I think the way that we leverage the ball schematically, I think the way that we talk and teach fundamentally of getting off blocks, we have a number of ways that we can kind of mess with people on those perimeter space tackles and then still have enough hats in the box for the 1+, run fit. And so those are things that certainly Oklahoma challenged us in the first game. If they're listening, I'm not going to call any one play the same. It'll be a completely different game plan in all areas. But ultimately, right, you have to find creative ways to defend the lateral space and still take care of a 1+ quarterback system. And that, to me, right, is probably what they've done a really good job of, is they just stretch you laterally with all 11 bodies, and you got to be able to defend, their 1+ quarterback runs. And so that'll be a great challenge for us on Friday.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys. Roll Tide.
Golly. If you have a question for Jeremy, just raise your hand. We'll get a mic over to you. Start with Nick here on the front right.
Hey, Jeremy, what are some of the focal points you guys are making sure to emphasize to get the offense back on track when it was playing at its best?
Lining up fast, giving the QB a chance to analyze the defense. We know that they bring a lot of different coverages, so we want him to be able to, see everything and be able to make the checks and get us in the right position. And then just the execution part. We all know that when we execute how we're supposed to, the game goes how we want it to be. So we know that one of our key components is going to be execution. If we can out-execute them, then we'll be in a good spot.
Jump over to the front left, Colin.
Obviously, the offense last time in Oklahoma didn't go super well. What do you remember about, I guess, the atmosphere, what you guys faced in Norman, that you can kind of prepare for or encourage people who didn't experience what last year brought?
This time around, we know it's going to be cold. Their lights, it kind of got me last time that we played. The lights were kind of, I don't know, in a weird position, I guess you could say. So that, and then just the field condition. I think our equipment staff has done a great job at putting us in the right cleats and whatnot, so we won't have that issue. And then, just from there, it's just playing football. That's it.
Go to Charlie on the far right.
When we heard from Coach DeBoer yesterday, he said he was a little winded coming off the practice field because he was working with you guys, the receivers, a little bit more. Just what's that been like? What's it been like getting a little bit more time with the head coach?
Yeah, it's always great to be able to have, your head coach, coach you up a little bit. He has so many other things to worry about, but for him to, be in our room and give us notes and just be there to analyze the film and whatnot, it helps us a lot because, he was a, OC, now he's the head coach, and he used to play position back in the day, so he knows a lot about the game, and, it only helps us elevate our games as receivers.
We got two questions in the middle, starting with Joe, and then we'll go to Katie. Go ahead, Joe.
Jeremy, you all had a lot of success in the November game, moving the football, but fell into some havoc plays. What does Oklahoma do that kind of creates confusion and creates some of these, disaster plays, and what can y'all do to avoid that?
So they check the checks. So whenever we check the play, they'll make a check. They do a really good job at disguising their defense, showing us different looks, bringing another look. There's only we're at a late point in the season. There's only so much you can do now, and so our coaches have done a great job at preparing and scheming up the right things, and so now it's just for the players. Just watch film, analyze what they do, get used to it. We run it in practice, and we just have to trust ourselves and trust our instincts when we get out there on the field and just prepare. So the game will come to us easy.
Coach Grubb just talked about being excited to have Josh Cuevas back out there. Just kind of how does Josh open things up for the rest of the offense in both the pass and running game?
Josh he's very versatile. So, he's able to block really well in the run game, and then he's able to be explosive in the pass game. And we definitely need that. You can't just have receivers running routes and whatnot. It takes all of us. It takes a tight end. It takes a running back. So. We all know what he can do and what he brings to the table, so it's a very key part to our offense.
We got Tony next on the front right.
Yeah, you mentioned the lights at the stadium there. It's not the first time I've heard that. Just what makes that challenging? And then also when you go to a new environment like that, how do you kind of get ready for that? How do you prepare for, maybe a different environment that you're used to in terms of just maybe visual things?
It's hard to prepare for that, but we're receivers. We know we're going to experience that, at some point in our career, so we just have to be able to adjust.
Let's go to Matt in the back right.
Your coaches have talked throughout the season about you guys sort of feeling like your back's against the wall since the Florida State game. At this point in the year, is having all that pressure throughout the year helpful for you that maybe it's not so different now?
I wouldn't really call it pressure. Just a little adversity, I would say, and adversity, it strengthens our team, and that's something that every team needs. We see how resilient we are. We've seen the teams that we faced and all the games that we did come out on top. So we could just use those lessons to be able to learn and continue to move forward. We know that the playoffs are going to be hard, and we've been through hard things throughout the season, so we're prepared.
Stay on the right side, front row to Nick.
I want to ask a follow-up about getting lined up quicker, because it's something that Coach Grubb talked about. If it's not Mach 4, it's not fast enough type of deal. Like why is it so important to make sure that you guys get lined up as fast as you need to be?
It gives Ty, like I said, it gives Ty a chance to see the whole defense. Like I said, if he needs to make a check, he can make a check. And then it also gives us receivers and the O-linemen to point out their guys. It gives receivers to a chance to see the defense and see the structure of the defense, see if they're going to rotate, if they're on different levels or whatnot. So it gives us all an advantage when we line up fast.
All right, let's finish up with a follow-up from Colin there.
You were obviously with Coach DeBoer on his last, college football playoff run. I'm wondering what you remember about his demeanor back then, if there's any similarities, differences from, how as you guys approach this
Yeah.
run.
I mean, obviously, you evolve, you learn new things as a person, but Coach DeBoer, he's the same person. He's going to prepare, his hardest at whatever it is, whether we're playing University of Louisiana tomorrow or we're playing Ohio State, you know what I'm saying? So it really doesn't matter about, who we're playing or, what type of game it is or if we're in the playoffs or not. He's going to prepare just how he always does.
All right, thanks, Jeremy.
Sorry. Thank you, guys.
Zabian Brown will be next. All right, we are joined by Zabian Brown. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get your mic over to you. Start with Colin on the front left.
Obviously, there's been a lot of comparison between your guys' defense and Oklahoma's defense, two of the top defenses in the conference. What would you say gives Alabama the edge over Oklahoma in that case?
Our Coach Womack, he this week he really just stressing about winning the turnover battle and how important that is and the ultimate outcome of the game.
Let's go to Tony, front right.
What do you see from Red as a perimeter tackler, and just what about that about the way he plays makes him so good at that?
Sure, as a dog, certain things you just can't teach, and his toughness, physicality, really it shows up on game day.
Go to the back left. We have a question back there.
Hey, I heard a rumor that you were the best bowler on the team. Do you think you could beat Mookie Betts in a bowling match?
Mookie Betts, I'm not updated on his talent and skills, but I'll definitely take the challenge.
Let's go to Katie, right in the middle of the room.
Building off the Red Morgan question, Coach Womack just said that he's the best striker on the team, he feels like. Do you agree with that sentiment? Is that something you kind of see out of Red?
I mean, yeah, Red's a dog. He know how to hit. He makes a lot of plays on the perimeter, and makes having somebody like that makes my life, safety's life, just everybody's life a lot easier back there.
All right, right behind Katie is Joe. We'll go to him next.
Zabian, what do you take from the last matchup against Oklahoma? Specifically, what do you see in Isaiah Tank, the wide receiver?
you know, they got talent all around the board. They do their certain things and want to get their balls certain places, and we know we got to take away.
We got a follow-up from Colin.
What do you remember about the atmosphere in Norman last year? You know, whether it was, you know, fans, you know, field conditions. What do you remember?
It's cold. Field was hard, and stands they right up on the benches. So that's about it.
All right, second row on the far left is Will.
Over the last number of weeks, the defense has had to begin a few drives with short fields. What's the mentality in that kind of a situation, and what do you guys focus on there?
Sure, we don't really care where we take the field. You know, they don't score. That's our mentality, our mindset. Get the ball back to our offense. Keep rolling.
All right, we got a follow-up from Katie. This will be our last question.
You talked about Coach Womack putting a big emphasis on turnovers this week. Is it a little harder for you to snag interceptions with your thumb like that, or do you just kind of do you work around that in practice?
Oh no, it's it's certain plays got to be made, certain things got to get done. So, I'm ready for it.
All right, thanks, Zabian. Bray Hubbard will be next. All right, we're joined by Bray Hubbard. Let's go ahead and start with questions. We've got two on the front right, starting with Nick and then Tony.
Yeah, Bray, their defense gets a lot of attention, but number 9 scoring defense, good defense, but you guys are number 12. So do you guys have a sense of wanting to prove just how good you are, just for the national scene to kind of see in a game like this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have to go out there and prove every week that we're the top defense in the country. And it's a battle every week to create takeaways and turnovers to, get the offense the ball. Obviously, they do a great job. Oklahoma has great defense also. I forgot what you said the ranks were, but obviously personally, I don't pay attention to the rankings because, I believe that we got the best defense in the country and we create turnovers. So.
Let's go to Tony next. Go ahead, Tony.
Kane called Red Morgan the best striker on the team. Is that a title you're willing to concede, and how do you compare to him and maybe being a striker of the ball?
Red's probably about 20 pounds less than me, so he can get going and probably a little quicker than me, so he can come downhill and I don't know, he lays his whole body on the line. Me personally, I don't really lay my body on the line like he does. He's like out there flopping around, and So it's pretty funny. I'm just like running across the field, and I just see Red come out of nowhere and just fly into somebody. So I mean, I guess he can give him that, but at the end of the day, I mean, I'm gonna come downhill and hit you in the head. So.
Let's go to Colin on the front left.
There's been a lot of conversation about how the mentality for this team has been win or go home since Florida State. So is the atmosphere around this building ahead of a playoff game, is it anything new for your guys, or how is, I guess, the demeanor of players, coaches, things like that?
It's still win or go home. I mean, obviously, if we don't win this game in Oklahoma, I mean, the season's over. So now it's really win or go home. And so, we have to prepare like that every day. Obviously, throughout the year, I mean, we're still preparing like that. It's basically a one-game season every week because the margin for error is just so small when you're at the top, and we say it all the time. So, I mean, that's really what it comes down to is we got to prepare every week like it's win or go home. And obviously, now that we're in the CFP, it's like that. So.
Go to the back of the room to the left there, Joe.
Bray, as a safety, how difficult is it to delineate between when the offense is trying to get out on the perimeter versus when they're trying to hit you with quarterback run up the middle? And kind of what's your role in deciding what to pay attention to?
Yeah, I mean, usually as a safety, we're usually second level, third level defenders. Obviously, we gotta be clean with our eyes because there's a lot of things that you can do. Screen, you got screen and goes. Obviously, the quarterback run is something that comes alive this week with Mateer. He does a great job with it. But obviously, if it gets to us, we just have to get it down. And as a second and third level defender, we got to trust our guys up front to stay in their gaps and do their job. That way, it doesn't get to us. But when you have the perimeter, they're trying to spread you out, create a light box. We got to make sure we're just reading our keys right to make sure we're not getting a light box or light on the perimeter.
Will, second row on the left.
Zabian said it doesn't matter to this defense whether you guys are starting with a short field or wherever you're taking the field. What does that mentality look like on an every series basis?
Yeah, I mean, we don't ever want an offense to score on us, and that's the goal. Coach Womack says it all the time, Ebon Bay. It's like hold fast the line. I mean, I remember Coach Womack saying that like day one that he came in here and we were going through all the defensive stuff. But, I mean, the goal every week is 0, and if a team gets in the red zone, stop them in the red zone. If they get on the goal line, stop them on the goal line. And obviously, we want to have 3 and outs. We want to create short field position for our offense. We got to take the ball away, and that's what we got to do every week. Is we got to start taking the ball away more. And I think the last couple of games we didn't create as much turnovers as we wanted to create short field for our offense. And if you look, I think in the first matchup this year against Oklahoma, they had some big plays that gave their offense the short field, and that's what we have to do for our offense is get a short field so they can get in the end zone.
Go to the back to the left, Hunter.
There's been instances this year where Tim Keenan has dropped back in coverage. What are your thoughts on that, and how confident are you if the ball comes his way that he can get an interception?
I mean, I've seen him do it in practice before. Honestly, it's pretty funny watching him drop back and catch a ball. One time, I think he tipped it to himself or something, and like everybody lost it because like you don't expect it, and then you see a big Tim Keenan rolling out into coverage, and it's like, my goodness, if somebody's coming across the middle, it ain't gonna look good. So
Go to Chase in the front middle here.
You and Keon Sabb have more snaps than anybody else on the defense, and obviously there's a lot of substitutions going on. What do you think it says about you and Keon that Coach Womack doesn't want y'all coming off the field?
I mean, I think it's a trust factor. He puts a lot of trust in us to be able to do a lot of different things in the back end. Obviously, I mean, there's not a really big rotation with us. Obviously, we don't have a lot of guys in our room. But at the same time, we do have players behind us that we trust, our coaches trust, that if we need something, if we need a break or whatever, because, I mean, we're not just playing defense. We're playing on special teams, too. So they trust those guys, too. But, I mean, I guess it says a lot when I guess we're leading. I don't even know how many plays I've played this year. That's a lot. But I mean, every now and then Zay will go out there. But, I mean, I trust Zay. Coaches trust Zay. He does a great job in practice. Same with Ivan. Ivan does a great job in practice. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, they're going to put the best guys on the field that they trust. And, I mean, that just happens to be me and Keon. But at the same time, they still trust the guys behind us, too.
Any other questions for Bray? All right, thank you.
Thank y'all.
joined by Kaden Proctor. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll start here on the far left with Will.
Coach Grubb said he wants to see you guys on the offensive line have the best communication that you've had all year on Friday night. What's practice been like this week on that front, and do you think that can happen?
Yeah, I definitely think that can happen. I mean, that's something that we've been honing in on. That's really all offensive line is communication. 5 is 1, and we've really been focusing on that. So we've been doing a really great job up to this point.
Going to front row to Colin.
Obviously had a few weeks to kind of assess, but how have you seen Wilkin play at right guard and kind of, the good things, bad things?
I feel like he's been that aggressor, that we need in there. He's been focusing on run blocking, focusing on his technique. I know that's what I see. I mean, I can't really see too much until I watch film after. But he's been doing a really tremendous job at, communicating to Michael Carroll over there and, just really take care of what he needs to do.
Far left side, Hunter.
Yeah, you're one of the players who played in the last time you guys made the CFP. Just what's been the message to the rest of the team regarding your experience with that?
Really, it's just a whole nother season. I mean, no matter how bad your body feels, you just got to push through it. Like I said, it's another season. I mean, the preparation really isn't different at all. Just new teams, new players. Really just got to focus on the preparation throughout that week and just go 1-0. Yep.
To the front right to Tony.
Y'all missed out on Army St. Thomas last time you played them. Just what have you seen from him on film, and how much of a challenge can he be to defend?
I mean, really just knowing from last year, he's a really fast guy, really speedy. He's not portrayed as a big guy, but he's got a lot of pop to him. So I really know, you got to be ready for that. Get off the ball. Hone into the snap count. It's going to be loud. It's going to be a fun environment. But really just focusing on everybody, not just one person, focusing on everybody and focusing on what we need to do. Yeah.
Let's go to Joe in the back middle there.
Kaden, the offense had a lot of success moving the football in the November matchup, but Oklahoma was able to create a lot of havoc plays. What does the Oklahoma defense do that allows them to create confusion or create these kind of game-changing plays?
I wouldn't say that it's anything that any team does. Is really just it's all about us and how much we take care of the ball. We didn't take care of the ball. We had some mental errors on the offensive line wise that led to some sacks. So that's what we need to clean up at the end of the day.
We have a follow-up from Colin right on front left.
You were here, obviously, when Alabama last made the college football playoff. I guess looking back at, what that preparation looked like what this preparation looks like with a new staff.
Yeah.
What are some similarities, differences?
I would say it's all the same. It's college football playoffs. We already know the task at hand. We know the team that we're playing. We know how to prepare each week, and it's really just the same as week 1 to week 15. It's the same thing. So.
Got a question from Emily Grace.
You mentioned Michael Carroll. What have you seen from him as a true freshman as he's continued to progress his season? Obviously on the field, but also off the field. Has he just mentally gotten more comfortable?
I would say, yeah, the physicality is what you see out of him. You see that in practice. I would say he's talking a lot more and really getting comfortable in his position. Talking to Wilkin, talking to Parker, and he asked for help. That's the biggest thing that you have to do when you're a freshman. You have to ask for help. If you don't know something, don't go out there blind, and he's been doing a really great job at that.
Go right across the aisle to Katie.
2 questions, if I can. First, Coach Grubb just said that Parker's really been a warrior the last couple of weeks, and he couldn't even really believe he played. So just kind of what toughness have you seen out of him? And then second question, how does Josh Cuevas kind of help the offensive line when he's out there and the blocking that he's able to do?
Well, warrior Parker is, I agree with that because, high ankle sprains or whatever he has going on, that's hard to play through. I've had some of the same thing. I remember in the Rose Bowl, my freshman year had some of the similar things, and you just got to, you thug it out, honestly, and that's exactly what he's been doing. He's been trying to be on the field and be that leader that he always is. And obviously, Cuevas, he goes out there and brings the physicality with the chip game, chipping the defensive ends. We all see that he's out there, busting his ass and doing what he needs to do to get back to. So I'm really proud of both of them guys.
Question from Nick on the front right.
Yeah, the receivers have been talking about how the point of emphasis to them has been to line up fast as they can. just for the benefits of that, like, what is the equivalent for you on the offensive line to essentially not necessarily get lined up quick because you're going to the same spot, but to make sure that there's time for you guys to see what they're showing, give tie time, things like that?
I mean, you gotta. We do have to get up to the line fast, and for us, I would say you have to read out the defense and make our calls and make sure that the wide receivers and the quarterback and the tight ends know that we're prepared and that we've had that preparation all week, doing that, getting up to the line, getting set, so they can make their calls, so Ty can make his checks. So that's what we've been focusing on. Yep.
Got a question from Joe in the back of the room.
What have you seen from, or what does it mean to you personally and to the offensive line as a whole to get Cam Dewberry back in this coming game? And what has his game been? What has his growth pattern been over the course of the year?
I mean, it means so much. I mean, he's a senior. You gotta have a guy like that, a voice that's been doing this for a long time, to come back and have his viewpoints. Especially we have freshmen out there playing. Even me, I'm younger. I can learn some things. So just having that old guy out there that can really help with his experiences.
Any other questions for Kate? All right, thank you.
Thank you.